The Alpha left his cubs with human soldiers. They returned leading an army. Chapter 1. The Pact. The war between the Drasken clans and the core Dominion raged across the outer belt. Worlds burned, fleets shattered. The Drasken, wolf-like warriors bound by blood and pack, were outnumbered, their strength bleeding away with each battle. Their Alpha, Voren Blackfang, faced an impossible choice. His cubs, 2 young heirs barely into their first growth cycle, were targets. If they fell, the line of leadership would die with them. So Voren did the unthinkable. He left his cubs in the care of humans. Not diplomats. Not scholars. Soldiers. Chapter 2. The Human Camp. The cubs arrived at Camp Harrier, a forward base carved into the rock of an asteroid. Human soldiers looked at them with curiosity. The cubs bristled, growling, expecting mockery. Instead, Sergeant Mason, a scarred veteran with eyes like steel, knelt and met their gaze. "You're safe here," he said simply. "Your pack now." The words struck something deep. The cubs tilted their heads, ears twitching. In Drasken culture, pack meant loyalty beyond blood. From that day, the cubs followed Mason and his squad everywhere. Chapter 3. Learning the Human Way. At first, the cubs resisted. They sneered at human weapons, scoffed at drills, mocked the strange humor soldiers used to ease the weight of war. But Mason never wavered. He showed them how to strip a rifle, how to patch a wound, how to move silent as shadows. When they faltered, he barked. When they succeeded, he praised. And slowly, the cubs changed. They learned that strength was not just in claws, but in patience. That courage was not only charging forward, but holding the line for others. That pack could mean soldiers bound by choice, not just birth. The cubs watched humans laugh even under fire, share rations even when hungry, fight even when outnumbered. They began to laugh with them, to eat with them, to fight beside them. Chapter 4. The Call of Blood. Months later, word reached Camp Harrier. The Drasken Alpha had fallen. Voren Blackfang was dead, slain in battle against the core. The cubs, now heirs, howled in grief. By tradition, they should return home to rally their people. But the Dominion had already moved to crush the Drasken completely. The pack was leaderless. The cubs were too young. "Then we'll make them ready," Mason said. Chapter 5. Forged in Fire. The training intensified. The cubs ran drills until their paws bled, sparred until their bodies ached. Humans taught them strategy, patience, and discipline. They learned to lead squads, not just fight as individuals. They learned signals, formations, ambushes. And they learned human war songs, chants that rose from deep throats and echoed through the halls of Camp Harrier until even hardened soldiers felt their blood burn. The cubs grew taller, stronger. Their eyes sharpened. They were no longer just heirs. They were commanders in the making. Chapter 6. The Test. The core launched a raid on the asteroid belt. Dozens of warships descended. The humans prepared for evacuation. Mason looked at the cubs. "This is your fight now," he said. "We'll stand with you. But you lead." The cubs' hackles rose. Fear licked at their hearts. But they remembered the lessons. Calm under fire, protect your pack, strike with precision. They stood tall. "Then we lead," they growled. Chapter 7. The Battle. The asteroid fields became a killing ground. Under the cubs' command, human soldiers and Drasken warriors fought as one. Ambushes ripped into enemy formations. Mines detonated along predicted flight paths. Snipers picked targets with chilling accuracy. And when the Dominion forces thought they had broken through, the cubs led the countercharge, one wielding a human rifle, the other a Drasken blade. Together, they howled, a sound that froze the enemy's blood. It was not just battle. It was rebirth. Chapter 8. The Return. When the smoke cleared, the core Dominion's fleet was shattered. Word spread like wildfire. The Alpha's cubs had returned, not as children, but as leaders. They stood before the scattered Drasken packs, flanked by human soldiers who had fought at their side. "We are Pack," the elder cub declared. "Not just Drasken. Not just human. Together. And together, we will win." The Drasken, hardened and grieving, saw fire in their young leader's eyes. They saw the discipline of humans in their stance, the fury of their own kind in their howls. And they followed. Chapter 9. The Army. Under the Cubs' command, the Drasken rebuilt. Human advisors helped, but it was the Cubs who rallied warriors, who planned strikes, who inspired courage. What rose was no longer a fractured clan. It was an army, fierce, disciplined, unstoppable. They struck the core with the fury of wolves and the precision of soldiers. Worlds that had fallen were reclaimed. Dominion fleets that once hunted were hunted themselves. And always, at the heart of it, the Cubs led. Chapter 10. The Legacy. Years later, when the war was over and the core Dominion broken, the Cubs, now Alphas in their own right, spoke of the humans who had raised them in war. "They did not just guard us," one said. "They made us leaders. They made us Pack." And the galaxy whispered of the day the Alpha left his cubs with human soldiers, and they returned not as children, but as the leaders of an army that shook the stars. Epilogue. The Howl. At the monument erected on the ashes of the final battlefield, humans and Drasken stood together. The Cubs, now tall Alphas with scars of battle, lifted their voices. Their howl carried across the sky, joined by the chants of human soldiers. One sound, one pack, one army. And the galaxy would never forget.